So topic suggestions, anybody? Yes?
I've heard a lot of Let's Players say one of the hardest parts is just talking to your microphone and feeling like you're talking to yourself. How do you kind of get around that and get more comfortable doing that?
The question is, how do you get around feeling like you're talking to yourself? And in my particular case, I had done some very low quality live streams of myself drawing my comic in the past. And so, at least with the live stream, and if you guys ever do, like, you've seen Twitch TV? How many people have seen Twitch TV? Okay, good. I'm just checking, because sometimes I go places I never know. Twitch TV is a live streaming service for video games, and if you start streaming on Twitch, people are going to wander in and out of your room, and they'll give you feedback and whatnot. And in some ways, that can be easier for people because they know, okay, I have 5 people watching. I can see their names because they're logged in. It's like, oh, hey Donald, having a good day, that sort of thing. It's good for small talk. For me, I was looking at it as an opportunity to essentially do comedy monologues anyway, which if I was going to a stand-up club, I wouldn't be talking. Yes, there's a room full of people, but it's still just me talking, And so that's just something that I was kind of ready for. But I guess think about it as you have to try and imagine that there are people on the other side, and there will be, in 25 hours once you've uploaded, edited, and encoded everything. Who would like to hear about editing? I know editing can be kind of, okay, great. First thing, Salman Khan of the Khan Academy, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, it's a YouTube education series. He said he's got a ton of people doing a lot of research on people's attention span and what they enjoy and how to keep them engaged in video. Now his stuff is educational, so it's even more important than with my stuff. If somebody stops watching my videos, maybe they don't have as many laughs, but it's not like, oh, they gave up on calculus because this video was too hard. And they found that like 7 minutes is like about the perfect length for a video on a single subject. Now, obviously, we have television shows that are longer than that. Like, you can turn on the TV and Castle is 43 minutes, or an episode of Firefly. But, those shows are written by people who understand how to break the action up into several smaller segments. And those segments usually end up being a few minutes, 7 minutes at most, between commercials. And so, when you're starting out, just try to figure out how you can fill 7 minutes with something cool. And because not only is that a good length for people to watch, but also when you are editing video, if you make a mistake when you press encode, like at least on the first computer I had, it would take like 2.5 hours to encode a 7-minute video. And so if I would watch the end result and realize I had missed something, it's another 2.5 hours before I can start uploading it. So I'd have to go in, the fix might take 1.5 minutes, but I'd lose another 2.5 hours. And so if I was doing 40-minute videos, it would have been 10-hour encodes. And you're gonna make mistakes. Anytime you switch software, like I went from using Final Cut Pro on a Mac to using Adobe Premiere on a PC. And Final Cut Pro has a lot of problems with it. There's a lot of reasons people don't like it. But it's really good if you are new at video or if you're prone to making mistakes. Which, when I was juggling 2 jobs with a brand new baby, you're tired all the time, and you're going to make mistakes. And Adobe Premiere is just absolutely unforgiving. You click on the wrong thing, you accidentally encoded your source file rather than the final product, and wasted a bunch of time. But yeah, just using iMovie though, that's what I started out with. It's pretty straightforward. I think there's like a Windows Movie Maker equivalent. But you guys can go online and just like watch videos about like how to make home movies or how to edit home movies, because it's the same basic concept. You're just editing something cheap with something cheap. And then later on you can move on to Pro Tools. In terms of editing style and composition, which I think is kind of more important though, you got to figure out where the action is and what supports your, like I said, what supports your goal. When I was doing a lot of Super Hostile videos, those, who has heard of Super Hostile? Okay, great. I started off doing Super Hostile videos because I figured dying in crazy and new and exciting ways would keep me on my toes. But I also was like, okay, I got this persona where I live in a creationist universe and God wants me dead and I don't care, I'm just gonna keep going. And so anything that's about me fighting the map and the map trying to kill me and crushing me and me jumping back and doing it again, that was good. But like, if I'm just like, okay, I need to mine a bunch of cobblestone now, don't include that. And it's really hard in the super hostile maps, because sometimes there's an area where it's like, okay, I don't think there's any traps here or anything, and I'm just going to mine. And then mining sets off a trap. And you're like, oh God, why wasn't I recording? So unfortunately, you might have to record things that you don't use, just because you don't want to miss one of those beautiful, unexpected moments. Another thing kind of about video length is if there's something, like, if you have something happen that's really interesting, making a highlight video of it or something like that can be really good, because 45-minute videos never go viral. If something happens in minute 23 of your video, you've probably already lost. And this is not just starting off, but like for anybody, when people start watching the video, retention's at 100%, it's going to drop to like 70 to 50% by the 20-minute mark. People, they get busy, they wander off, it's too long for them. And so like you might have this amazing moment that would have totally gotten all over Facebook, but nobody's going to get to the 23rd minute and watch it. So just pull that out and make it a separate thing and say, oh yeah, highlight, that sort of thing. So let's see, is there anything else about editing that you guys want to hear about? Any topics about editing in particular, subtopics? Yes?
I have a question about like editing programs and capture programs that you get I'm a self-use program called EasyVid.
I have not used EasyVid. When I first started doing this, like I said, I already had QuickTime, and so I used that, and then I ended up spending, on the Mac, unfortunately, both things that I recommend that I actually use cost money. And so I haven't done a lot of research about free software because I already spent the money. But on the Mac, it's Snaps Pro X, and on the PC, I use DxTory. And unfortunately, I can't talk in detail about free software, but what I would say is Google reviews and look for possibly tutorials of people actually using it. Try and look for what the specs of your computer are and see how they match up with what the expected specs of the game are. Also, one trick when you've got lower power computers is to record at a lower frame rate, or not lower frame rate, a lower resolution. Like 720p is great if you can do it right, but if you're recording 720p at like 15 frames a second, just have the resolution and do it at 30. People care more about fluid video than they care about high resolution video. And so that's another way you can kind of stretch these things a little further. Any other topic suggestions or questions? Yes, you.
How do you deal with YouTube comment sections?
How do I deal with YouTube comment sections? YouTube comment sections are for fun, okay? If you look at them as a chore, they are a chore that will have infinite need. They're like a Tamagotchi that never stops crying. That's not too dated. The way I see them, and this is how I stay sane, I look at them as an opportunity to make additional jokes. And sometimes that makes my audience mad because they'll ask a serious question. And when somebody asks a serious question and you don't know the answer, saying I don't know is never funny. So I can either ignore them, or say I don't know, or say something humorous. Like, where's the server you're playing on located? I don't know. It's like, the server is hosted in beautiful sunny Singapore. Singapore, where the future of tomorrow is yesterday afternoon. And like some people love that. Like I stopped doing the Singapore joke because people were like, Singapore has a lot of political problems. You shouldn't make light of it. It's like, I don't know. It's a city-state thing. But all governments have problems. And then when I stopped answering that question of where's the server, I just started ignoring it. People were like, where's Joe? He's supposed to say it's in Singapore. And so YouTube comments, once you get enough people, they'll actually start policing themselves. And a lot of that's about the community that you cultivate. Like, I am very big on respecting other people because being a jerk to people is never going to pay off for you. And I think that's something, like, if a fan says something that I feel is like grossly inappropriate in a comment, I'm a big believer in freedom of speech. I don't like censoring or removing anything. But I will post a reply saying, "Hi, so-and-so. I see that you are not someone who respects other people. I remember things like that, and other people will too. You should not ever do anything. You should not say things along these lines again." And you know, I might say it in another line or two. Like, but they have to say something like pretty bad. But like, I will publicly call them out and say, "This is unacceptable behavior." And any comment that the creator responds to, that goes to the top. And so all of a sudden, me saying, "Hi, John," whatever, because people use their real names and say stupid, racist things. And reminding them that this is going to be out there forever when people search for them. Because then even if they delete their comment, me chiding them for being racist is going to be on the internet forever. And that cuts a lot of people out from saying stupid things. But like, honestly, most comments though are just oblivious. Like, I had a video of me complaining about MOBAs where I'm sitting on this like weird wall thing that our hotel room has. If anyone's staying in the Residence Marriott or whatever, like the rooms are like half split level with this weird wall. So I'm like 12 feet off the ground sitting on a wall in the middle of a room. And one of the commenters was like, "Why is he on a moving truck?" I don't know how to respond to that because it's my favorite comment on this. You know, and so, you know, in a lot of ways, if you think about when you're a DM in like Dungeons and Dragons, and like sometimes the players are idiots and sometimes they're frustrating, sometimes they're just like hilarious, beautiful children, and you're just like, okay, I didn't know what that was gonna be, but I like it. And so I just kind of see it as an extra place to be funny and to convey what I want to convey. So thank you for the good question on YouTube comment sections. Any other topics, anybody? Yes, you miss.
I was wondering what people used to make the Minecraft animations.
What do people use to make the Minecraft animations? There are several 3D animation software packages out there. One of them is Blender. That one happens to be free. It's an open source software program. And what you can do is you can create a, they call it a rig or a skeleton, but essentially you create a bunch of boxes and then you connect them via like invisible joints. And so then you can do all sorts of weird things with them and bend them in weird ways that you couldn't in normal Minecraft. And that's its own, I'm not a 3D modeler. I've done some 3D modeling, but I could not give you like a full tutorial. But yeah, Blender would be one that you could get started with. And then once you make those boxes and link them together with the skeleton, you just apply the Minecraft textures over it. And yeah, it's one of the easiest things you can do with that software, with the caveat that that software is insanely difficult to use. So it's the sort of thing that you would learn in like your first day of a class on that software. So take that at face value, I guess. Yeah, no problem. And music and parodies with Minecraft is something that has been like a lot of people like doing, you know, Minecraft music videos and things like that. Some of my friends from the Dead Workers Party who do the Shaft podcast, they do hilarious stuff with that. I've done 2 Minecraft music parodies. One was a holiday parody, and it was that fa la 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 song. I don't know, Jingle Bells? No. Deck the Halls. Yeah, I'm good at retention. Yeah, Deck the Halls. And so one of the tricks is if you are not a musical person, find a musical person. Pay them what they are worth. Like, I do have some background music for my shows and whatnot. My brother is a musician and an actor, and so he was able to like professionally record the Ballad of Joe Hills. And it's like, who's the guy who can conquer death? That's Joe Hills. And it's just like this completely over-the-top thing, which works with my persona. But I was going to say, yeah, get people who know what they're doing. For my Deck the Halls thing, I got a wonderful singer to do my background vocals. And so even though I can't sing, like there's this absolutely angelic voice doing the fa la 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 part, and while I'm just kind of like, and you know, so that works. I also did a Minecraft parody unaccompanied, because there's a certain point where you just have to own that you're not very good at something. And so I was like, yeah, I haven't done a Minecraft parody for a while, so here we go. It's to the tune of Frere Jacques. Are you depressed? Are you depressed? Pressure plate, pressure plate. Redstone dust is shining, redstone dust is shining. Something else, I don't know. Retention's not something I'm good at. And so, like, that video actually ended up getting an insane amount of views because apparently people thought it was funny. And, you know, that's good, because if it was on its musical merit, there's none. And so, but that's just something where I wanted to experiment because I saw a co-star complaining on Twitter that all of the Minecraft music parodies had the same, like, Minecraft characters moving forward and, like, doing this, like, dance kick move. I was just like, man, I'm going to do one with none of that. Take that, co-star. And who's a really cool guy, actually. So yeah, just kind of occasionally giving yourselves, like, challenges. You know how, like, a textbook has, like, a bunch of weird challenge problems at the back that you're never going to do? Like, try to make those up for yourself when you're doing anything artistic. Like, I need to make a song that's 30 seconds long that has no musical instruments in the background because I don't have money to hire anyone and I suck. And you work on this challenge and you brainstorm and you might, like, learn something here or there. That then when you're doing, like, a real project, you go, oh, wait. I ran into this other problem with this editing software. I ran into this with the recording. Now I know, you know. Like, apparently having a metronome is really important for music. I don't know music, but, like, you know, that's a thing. And so, like, okay, next time I do a song, like, I'll wear headphones and have a metronome so I know, like, when to come in, and, you know, so it's not just a nightmare where everything's out of alignment. So, yeah. Other topic suggestions? No. Okay. Let's see. Other things that I've covered in the past at other panels like this. How many of you guys are hoping to actually make money off of this? A few. Okay. It will not be much money for a long time, if ever. Just to warn you. And that's one of those things where YouTube, with their monetization stuff, you got to be really careful. Don't include any copyrighted music. Don't include anything like that. Because, you know, if you have the Mario sound for, like, when you break a block, yeah, Nintendo can claim all the money that that video generates. It's kind of a pretty terrible system. It's kind of this outgrowth of when YouTube was just Stephen Colbert clips and Viacom sued them. So those rules weren't intended for you, but you will still be crushed by them. So read the monetization contract. And this really goes for everything. Read every contract. Like, you gotta know the rules, because if you break them, the penalties can be pretty severe. You can lose your channel if you break certain rules. With, like, you know, for example, people who run servers might approach me and say, hey, I'll give you this money if you can promote my server in your video. And there are certain ways that you can do that where you jeopardize your ability to run ads or to keep your channel. Like, if you're doing product placement and you're not reporting it to YouTube a certain way, like, that's the end of your channel. You get to start over with 0 subscribers next week. So, you know, not to sound too dire, but, like, when you say you have a legal obligation to do something, follow up on that and be very aware of that. So let's see, we've covered playing nice with others, monetization. I guess we haven't really talked about building and having fun. And, you know, that's kind of a big thing. I don't want this to be a fluff panel where I'm like, okay guys, if you put buttons on things, it kind of gives it this extra depth. Or, okay, like, one of my favorite new things I've seen in the latest update is where you just stack the carpets on top of each other, like into the sky, and then you punch the bottom one and they all come down. Like, every autumn video I start filming, I'm gonna build one of those off camera, punch it, and then do the intro and just have all these beautiful orange and yellow and red carpets falling behind me. Because that's honestly one of the other things that makes Minecraft great. Unintended uses of things in the game. If you see something that everyone else is doing, and like, people love, like, oh, okay, I'm going to take this block and intersect it with this block and make this other thing. You can always try and do your own spin on it, but it's okay if your own spin is like 180 degrees away from what everybody else is doing. Like, piston doors is something people have been making videos of forever. And my most popular piston door video is just, I had a piston under an iron door that would pull away the block. And then the iron door popped up. And the thing is, I was like, I feel like that's a pretty good core concept. But it's not quite there.
And so then what I did was I had the redstone just run like through this Rube Goldberg contraption. Is that because I'm old? All through the room and things like that. And I'm like, most compact piston door ever, you know, that sort of thing. And so by really hamming it up, and like I said, I do comedy, and I look for opportunities to turn it up to 11. If you're going to be super intense, like Master Architect Guy, go watch other architect shows. Like, go watch This Old House, or like Home Again with Bob Vila. Watch them pull apart drywall and like what they talk about with like why you chose this instead of that. It's like, the reason that we curved this wall here is because it allows a better view of this, and it really opens up the room. Because all of the fundamentals of architecture that show up in that show will actually show up in Minecraft. You know, some of the stuff about plumbing and electrical you guys can just ignore, just, you know, whatever. But in terms of shape and line and space, a lot of that stuff is really there. And your fans are going to expect you to know more than that about everything you do. So if you're an architect specialist or a wiring specialist, you know, you got to know how to make the circuits, you got to know how to build the rooms. And when you start doing that with other people, I think that's when it gets to be the most fun. Because you can have somebody who's like a cool redstone guy design the door to your house, and then somebody else is actually working on the walls and building a neat shaped roof. And then before you know it, you're actually making Home Again with Bob Vila. Like, where Bob Vila walks around, he's like, oh, let's check in with our architect here. What do we got? Okay, well, now we're going to go check in with the plumber. And, you know, there's a reason that that show ran for 16 years. Like, anything that you can draw from without ripping it off. Don't copy anything. Don't steal people's jokes. Don't steal people's designs. But constantly be learning how people who excel at things, how they do it. And then you can figure out how to make what you excel at your own. So let's see. Other topic ideas. Has anybody? Yes, you.
I heard about this update about these cats that had to do with creepers, I think, and then I saw this video and I don't know why that I keep like, what's this? There's this new type of material called emeralds.
Okay, the question was, there are cats and emeralds now?
Yeah.
And yes, there are cats and emeralds now. Emeralds are one of those colorful blocks that, you know, honestly, you got emerald and gold and diamond and all these other blocks that are kind of okay decoratively. One of the things that you can do, though, is really take, whenever they add something new to the game, like stained clay, for example. A lot of you guys might be aware of flatland settings where you can create your own flatland levels. And one thing that I did, I spent like 4 hours on this, was trying to figure out the perfect formula for the layers, like the rock layers that you would see in like the Grand Canyon, by rotating different types of stained clay. And then, once I had that perfect flatland that was like 128 tall, with all these different layers of stained clay, I had one layer of water and then another layer of clay and then bedrock. And so I opened up this completely flat world that's super high up in creative mode, and I just started TNTing the heck out of it, just building massive valley. Like, essentially, I carved out like a canyon system with a friend. And it wasn't a building video, it was kind of this like terraforming like god sculpture. But, you know, people were just like, oh, that's something new and cool that you can do because of this added material. When they added cats and cacti, I unfortunately didn't really take it, or not cacti, cats and emeralds, I didn't really take advantage of either too much because just the one color block, it's hard to do something brand new. And with the cats, I found like I was always moving too, like I like ender pearls a lot. And like the pets just don't keep up, or they end up running through lava or something. Question?
I was wondering, for those like large scale things, like when you're building like the Grand Canyon, do you use MC Edit for those, or do you use actual?
The question is, for grand scale stuff, do you use MC Edit or just creative mode? Well, when I was making essentially a dynamited canyon, I wanted, it was a proof of concept. Can I do this in creative mode? And so it worked. And then I went to MC Edit and MC edited in even more dynamite once I had done a recording of myself playing creative. And people liked that one too because there was like 100 times the dynamite. So that worked pretty well. Yes?
Is there something you really want to see in Minecraft, or something you really want added, anything along those lines?
Question is, what do I really want to see added in Minecraft? I would love to see more moms. Like they just added baby zombies and baby pigmen, but like pterodactyls, something that can swoop out of the air and make you afraid the same way you were the first time you found out what a creeper was. Yeah, Minecraft does a great job of making you afraid of the dark again. Like when you first start playing Minecraft, you're like, oh no, I'm in a cave, anything can happen. And then you kind of get more and more comfortable with it. And so I just, the zombie siege kind of makes Minecraft scary again. Now, like or the social zombies, when you hit one zombie and like hundreds of them surround you. Well, maybe that's an exaggeration, it's like 6. But it feels like 100, especially when we did a big server restart in the server I play on. And so we didn't have any good armor right when they added these social zombies. But yeah, I just like the idea that in the same way that you were scared of the dark, you are now scared of the open sky. Because at any time. And like maybe it doesn't instant kill you, maybe it like swoops down, picks you up, and then like throws you into the ground somewhere like 100 blocks away. Because that would be cool, right? Yeah, I don't think the Ender Dragon picks you up though.
Well, not too bad.
That's true. But I'm just saying, like I want something where you're like as you're ascending again in this thing's talons. You're just like, oh God, is it going to drop me over that or over that? And you're like, I can stab him now, but I'm over lava. Because there will be because that's the bar. They set the bar so high with the creeper. You know, like there were so many videos when Minecraft first came out, just people like they turn a corner, there's a creeper, boom, and they scream. and that's it. And it seems quaint now. Because, you know, we've been doing this, we've had the game for years, but like, yeah, just anything that like shocks the player and like makes them feel vulnerable is good. And the vulnerability of Minecraft is actually something that would be good to talk about, because you're really putting yourself out there when you make LPs, or when you build anything, like when you're playing on a server. You're saying, I'm going to try and be creative. And sometimes it won't go as well as you'd like, or sometimes you like how well it went, but somebody's going to be a jerk and make fun of it anyway. And you know, it's just one of those things where that's always kind of part of being expressive. And Minecraft does a great job of both letting you push yourself further than you would, but also reminding you could die at any moment. And you know, so now that we're all like invincible gods in diamond armor, something to push us back into that fearful place, I think. That was a good question. Thank you. Yes, you.
Can you give like an explanation of what MC Edit is?
Yes, MC Edit is a third-party tool that allows you to edit Minecraft maps the same way that like Adobe Illustrator lets you. That's a bad example. Nobody knows what that is. Photoshop lets you edit photos. Your camera is your primary. The camera would be like Minecraft in this analogy, and Photoshop is MC Edit. So it gives you all sorts of stuff that you can't do just like punching things in game. Like for example, you could stack monsters on top of each other and like make some of them like have fireproof and other people like. This is a bad example. You could make really crazy strong monsters and then throw them at the player that are not in the core game. Yes.
Or for example, you could cover an area entirely with dynamite.
Yes, you can cover. You can put in huge blocks of dynamite. One thing that you can do is you can put like huge flames full of sand over pits of lava, which is very popular in the Super Hostile series. So if you put a torch on that sand, all of a sudden all the sand goes into the lava. And you probably do too. And for me, that's one of those things. I had to stop playing Super Hostile maps after having the baby because it wasn't rewarding for the players for me to be like, okay guys, I'm going to go through here, put that torch, fall in the lava, and I'm like, can't scream, I'll wake the baby up. Because unlike here where you actually can see my face, they would just, it's like my mic cut out after I died. And it's just like, yeah, that's not what people want. People, they want, at least in that genre, they want to see the shock and fall. Yes, you. The Endermen also were very, very frightening. Blazes too. Like if you look at all the mobs that they've added, like when gases first came in, like now we're used to it. It's just like, oh yeah, another one. Okay, he's dead. But when gas first showed up, like going through the Nether, it's like I go out, put one cobblestone block, Another one. You know, and so yeah, no, and the Enderman too, like the idea that like by looking at them, they can teleport to you. Yeah, very very fearful. Yes.
When Endermen were first added, this was at a point where I was actually working with the bucket team, and during the release, we accidentally made them super super rare, which added to how scary they were. And one of Mojang's secret biggest upsetting things that they've ever done is we accidentally made them, well, I shouldn't say we, but they accidentally made them too common. So in the next scary mob that's coming out, it's going to be super rare. It's going to be really scary.
Okay, that wasn't really a question, but he said essentially the scariest mobs are those that are the rarest, and I guess I agree with that. I mean, silverfish scare me. Like, I've gotten to the point where it's like every time I'm like, okay, punch the block with my fist to see how quickly it breaks. Okay, no, that's cool. And you know, Minecraft, it kind of forces us to face fears and to like kind of question like, what's an acceptable level of neuroses? Like, at what point do I just charge bravely forward, and at what point do I go, oh no, I'm gonna play safe. And they are talking about like adding creatures. Like they added the wither skeletons that only show up in the nether fortresses. And that's a good example of like rarity. Now those don't have the range to really do anything, but I mean if they hit you, you know, you're in some trouble. And so that gives you that panic moment. Thinking back to when Endermen were first added though, as you pointed out, like I had a video where I was playing a super hostile map, and it was when Endermen were still added, and they could actually pick up bedrock. They could pick up anything back then. And an Enderman, like I kind of like mouse past an Enderman, and I start freaking out, and then the battery in my wireless keyboard dies. Oh. And wireless keyboards are terrible for gaming. The only reason I had one was because of the way my recording setup was at the time. I just couldn't do a wire. And so there's this, on Mac, there's this wireless keyboard no symbol thing that pops up on the screen. And I'm like, I think I just moused over an Enderman. I like screamed like that for like a minute. Because I'm like clicking with the mouse and I'm trying to use the scroll wheel to switch to the sword. And I'm so panicked that I keep scrolling past the sword. So I'm clicking the Enderman. And I can't move because I don't have the keyboard. I can just spin in place and rotate. And like I posted that was one of my first videos that really kind of got past my core audience. That was like maybe my 150th video or something, and that one got a few thousand views. I was like, wow, a few thousand views. And then later, now people still find that video because anytime a video kind of spikes in popularity, it kind of gets stuck in the Google search engine. And so people will watch that video now and be like, that Enderman's carrying bedrock. This guy's clearly cheating. And I'm like, it's from 2 years ago, man. Things were different. Like, you know, it's like, oh man, in that movie, somebody was smoking inside of a building, clearly fake. It's like, well, no, that's just what it was back then. People smoked in buildings. What do you want? Yeah. So let's see. How are we doing for time? 5 more minutes. Topics, questions. Anybody who hasn't asked anything yet? Sorry, I want to make sure we have time for everybody. Yes.
What plugins do you prefer? What helps you out?
Well, I like plugins, like Optifine is one of my favorite things ever invented, which lets you use Minecraft on a less powerful computer with better results. However, it does not work on the snapshots, and my primary video series is on a snapshot server now, so I can't use any plugins. One thing I should say about Minecraft, though, is how many people here know when I say the Quake engine? Do you know what the Quake engine is? Or the Half-Life engine? Okay, see, what a lot of people don't realize is that Minecraft, I think, is the next Quake engine or Half-Life engine. It's a core technology that people use to make all sorts of other games on top of. And so you start having all these cool mods now that are almost total conversion mods. Like Feed the Beast has a lot of the core Minecraft gameplay, and I love the Feed the Beast team. If you guys want to start trying modded Minecraft, Feed the Beast is the way to go. They have their own launcher, so it's super easy. And the team that makes it, I met them at PAX, and they are great people.
But like Feed the Beast takes Minecraft and they have something like 2,000 new items from like 25 different mods. And so there's all these crazy machines that automate stuff and whatnot. And so I know that's not like a plugin, but like that just extended the life of Minecraft and like my enjoyment of it so much. Because if you just play vanilla all the time, you eventually start hitting a wall, like unless you're like an insane sculptor. And I got the insane part down. But like really, honestly, I had to keep my vanilla series going. I actually did start watching Bob Vila episodes, like seriously, just to try and figure out like what's an interesting shape for a window. Because they're always it's a renovation show, so they look at like terrible houses and then they make them not terrible anymore. And so I started looking at a lot of my builds and I'm like, wow, these are all like the before picture. You know, I want them in that after. And so, you know, just kind of looking at different things like that can really help. So yeah, we're pretty much at the end of the panel. Thank you guys so much for coming. I've got a table downstairs if you want to come and hang out. Well, no, wait, the dealer's room is closing.
Got 30 minutes.
30 minutes. I have like 5 cards in my YouTube channel up here, and I've got like a whole bunch more down on my table. It's youtube.com/JoeHillsTSD for Team Snow Day. I'm down at the Team Snow Day table. But thank you guys. You guys are an awesome audience.